Good morning all. We all know today is Gandhi Jayanthi, the birthday of father of our nation, the great man Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji was a lover of music. Nice music certainly lifts us to godliness. Here Adya from 6th dances for one of his favorite songs, Vaishnava Janato.
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराए जाने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराए जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे तो मन अभिमान वैष्णव जन को तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराए जाने सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे निंदा न करे केनी रे पाँच कांच मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी तेनी रे वैष्णव जन को तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराए जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे कोई मन अभिमान ना आने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे
Gandhiji was an embodiment of values and virtues, which rose him to great height. Master Rishiraj from 6th is presenting a speech highlighting one of his virtue, honesty.
Hi everyone, I am Rishiraj from class 6C. As we all know, today is Gandhi Jayanthi. It gives me an immense pleasure to talk about this auspicious occasion. Gandhi Jayanti is celebrated every year on 2nd October all over the country. This day is celebrated to commemorate the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, whom we call as Mahatma Gandhi or Bapu, was born on 2nd October 1869. 2nd October is also celebrated as International Day of Non-Violence. Mahatma Gandhi was born in a small town of Porbandar in Gujarat, but he performed great deeds throughout his life. He studied law in UK and practiced law in South Africa. He fought continuously against British for the rule for independence of India. He started Satyagraha movement of India freedom struggle. Under his leadership, India got independence on 15th August. Let me tell an interesting story in Gandhiji's life. Mahatma Gandhi was very shy. As soon as the bell rang, he collected his books and hurried home. Other boys chatted and stopped on the way. Some to play, others to eat. But Gandhiji always went straight home. He was afraid that the boys might stop him and make fun of him. One day, the inspector of schools, Mr. Gills, came to Gandhiji's school. He read out 5 English words to the class and asked the boys to write them down. Gandhiji wrote 4 words correctly, but he could not spell the 5th word, kettle. Seeing Gandhiji's hesitation, the teacher made a sign behind the inspector's back that he should copy the word from his neighbor's slate. But Gandhiji ignored his signs. The other boys wrote all the 5 words correctly. Gandhiji wrote only 4. After the inspector left, the teacher scolded him. "I told you to copy your neighbor," he said angrily. "Couldn't you even do that correctly?" Everyone laughed. As he went home that evening, Gandhiji was not unhappy. He knew he had done the right thing. What made him sad was that his teacher should have asked him to cheat. Learning. Honesty is the best policy. Cheating and being dishonest will not take one far in life. From young, the habit of speaking truth and honesty should be included in children. Those who are honest are peaceful and happy. Gandhi Jayanti is celebrated every year to pay him tribute and remember his great works for the country's independence. Jai Hind.
We once again want to listen the sweet song, isn't it? How nice it would be if someone from our school sings the same song. Devika Sunil from 6F is giving us the treat.
वैष्णवजन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। वैष्णवजन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। पर धुके उपकार करे तोय मन अभिमान नाने रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे। सकल लोग मां सकुनी वंदे निंदा न करे केनी रे। वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी तेरी रे। वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहे जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे।
We are fond of seeing photos in albums. What about watching the photos of Gandhiji from his childhood? Here comes the photos of Gandhiji.
Mahatma Gandhi, also known as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He was the leader of Indian independence movement. Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869 to a Hindu Madhbaniya family in Porbandar in British Indian Empire. His father's name was Karamchand Gandhi and his mother's name was Putlabai Gandhi. His father served as the Dewan of Porbandar state. Mohandas had 2 elder half-sisters and 3 elder siblings. Baby Mohandas grew up to be a very shy child. At school, Mohandas was not a brilliant student. He wed Kasturba Makanji Kapadia in an arranged marriage in May 1883. Then he was 13 years old. and Kasturba was 14 years old at the time of their marriage. They had 4 children. At the age of 19, Gandhi went to England at 1888 to become a lawyer. After returning from South Africa to India in 1891, he began to practice law in Bombay. Then he went to South Africa to work at a law firm. There he witnessed rampant acts of racism and discrimination, which angered him greatly. Once he was asked to move from the first class in a train, in spite of having a valid ticket solely on the basis of his color, and another time he was asked to remove his turban. These incidents angered him and kindled in him the spirit to fight for social justice. He spent over 20 years in the country, during which he helped found the Natal Indian Congress, which aimed at molding the Indian community of South Africa into a unified political force. Gandhi returned to India in 1915. He joined the Indian National Congress and by 1920 established himself as a dominant figure in the Indian political scenario. His followers gave him the attribute Mahatma, meaning great soul. He called for all the Indians to unite as one, irrespective of the divisions of religion, caste, and creed in the country's fight for independence. He advocated non-cooperation with British rule, which included a boycott of British goods in favor of Indian-made products. In 1921, he was made the leader of the Indian National Congress, the party that was fighting for the independence. Gandhi was arrested on 10 March 1922, tried for sedition, and imprisoned for 2 years. In 1930, as the British government imposed tax on the salt, Gandhi took a 400 kilometers march to seashore called Dandi. Then he made salt with his own hands to show his protest against the evil tanks. He was joined by thousands of followers in the symbolic act of defiance against British rule. This campaign was one of his most successful at upsetting British hold on India. Britain responded by imprisoning over 60,000 people. The Second World War broke out in 1939, and Gandhi thought it to be the right time to force the Britishers to quit. He invoked a moment in 1942 called the Quit India Movement. He was imprisoned for 2 years and released before the end of the war in May 1944. By the year 1947, the British government has enough troubles to seek in India and England. So they leave India, but only after dividing it into 2 countries, India and Pakistan. India got independent, but India was not a peaceful process. It led to violent clashes between the Hindus and the Muslims. Gandhi repeatedly went to the hunger strikes to restore peace among the country. On 30 January 1948, as Gandhi completed a 2-day hunger strike in New Delhi, he was shot dead by a Hindu nationalist called Nathuram Godse at the age of 78. He established a principle called Gandhism, and the 2 pillars of Gandhism are truth and non-violence. Where there is love, there is life, said Mahatma Gandhi.
Be truthful, gentle, and fearless.